Tim Holtz and Debbie Collage at CHA booth, the Ranger booth at CHA. Is that good? That's good enough. We're going to do a make and take, a cool one. This is what we're making. These are all the people making it. Say hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
See? There you go. It's interactive. That's what it's about. All right, so what we're creating is we're using our new release at the show. These are memory capsules, and the great thing about these capsules are sized to fit all the different sizes of our memory glass and memory frames. But you'll notice that it now adds dimension or depth to it, and that's the cool thing about it. It's made of a thin plastic. They have all different styles that are in the packages. There are ovals and ornate rectangles and circles. But now we can add dimensional objects in the memory glass. We can also add movable or shakeable things like watch parts or beads or anything we want to. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our keyhole. That's going to be the focal point for this particular one. You also have a small little photo that we're going to work with. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue the keyhole over that photo with a small amount of glossy accents. Now we're using glossy accents as a glue because it has a 5-second drying time on paper. So as an adhesive for like a collage like this, really fast drying. So now we're going to create our collage background. And to start, our background is actually one of the journaling tickets from the ideology line that we've cut down to 2x2. We have a couple elements we're going to add. One is a little bit of music. One is a small film strip, and we're going to glue both of these elements anywhere on this ticket with glossy accents. So once both of these are glued down, you're going to flip this over and you're going to cut off anything that's sticking out over the edge. So once we have everything glued, and it's okay if it's not sticking down completely flat because it's still going to go under our capsule. So once everything's stuck down, we're going to ink it, because if it's not worth inking, it's not worth doing. So using our brush corduroy distress ink and our blending tool, tap the blending tool onto your brown distress, and you're just going to go around and you're going to ink the edges. The benefit of using a blending tool is it allows us to control the amount of ink that we have. After you ink the edges, if you want to go in and ink a little bit of that music, you can. While we're inking, we're going to also ink our flower. So everyone has, this is an artful collage flower from Prima that has been pre-stickled. We have stickled it using the distress stickles. Yeah. And the cool thing about distress stickles, if you take a look at it, it has a look of glass glitter, only it's not glass glitter. It has that nice kind of sugar, shimmery look to it, but it's also inkable glitter. That's the best part, is that we can put it down and we can ink. So once we've tinted the flower, we're still going to go and distress the tips of the petals. So go back to your brown. You don't need any more ink this time. You can just use the same foam. Hold the flower in the center and just flick the blending tool, top and bottom. Just lightly flick it. And you'll see that it's just going to kind of outline each of those petals without really turning the flower brown. Next, we glue this to our background. So little glossy accents, the back center of the flower, and you want to glue it along any of those straight edges. It could be any of those sides. You just put a little bit in the center of that flower and press it down on your collage. Excellent. Now our keyhole should be dry, so you can pick up the keyhole and you're going to trim off any excess. Excellent. Just chop that right off. Get rid of any excess paper. And we're going to adhere this also to our collage background. Now here's the thing to note about the memory capsules. The memory capsule is actually positioned in the center of the size of whatever we're working with. So when you add a dimensional object, it does need to go more into the center of your piece. If it goes into one side or the other, it's not going to fit in the capsule. Now the nice thing is you do have a little bit of play. If it's not directly in the center, if it's off one side or the other, if this had an overhang slightly, you could always trim it off, which is good. But we want to try to be in the center. Another nice thing is, so put a little bit of glossy accents on the back of that and just glue it down into the visual center of your background. Create your layers. It doesn't require a lot of glossy accents because we're still going to secure it with some long fasteners. Once that's glued down, we're going to now work on our cork mat. So we're going to take our piece of cork, position our background on there. It has our keyhole on there, it has our flower on there, and we're going to poke the holes. And here's what I want you to do. We're going to poke the 2 holes in the keyhole. To do that, we're going to take this and you're going to poke it through the hole, but when you go to pull this out, you need to roll this in your fingers as you pull this out of the cork so it doesn't strip through the gears. And you don't have to go all the way down. Just poke until you're through the paper, twist and pull out. We want to do both holes in the keyhole. Then we also need to pierce a hole where that flower is. But what I want you to do is just where the petal meets the center of the flower, that's where the hole goes. So it's kind of offset, but when it's in the frame, it'll look like it's in the center. So just where the petal meets the center, poke a hole there as well. Press it in, roll between your fingers, and pull this out. So now we have our holes. Next, we're going to attach our long fasteners. So take your brads, place them in both holes of your keyhole first. Then you're going to flip this over and go back to your needle tool, your craft pick. And a really good tip for brads is if you press this down into the center, that's going to split it. And then you can use the back of the tool to flatten those out, so you don't have to worry about getting them stuck up with your fingernails. So 2 brads go on the keyhole. Now for our flower, we're going to add a little washer. This is a flat metal disc that you have with a little, got it? Next comes the hammering. So let me talk about the hammering before you do any banging. Here we go. When we go to hammer this, we're using the texture hammer. This is a hammer with interchangeable tips that screw on and off. We have the bump tip on this one and the metal tip. We're going to use the bump tip to dent the brads on our keyhole. Then we're going to flip it over and use the metal tip to flatten the brad on our flower. And the reason we need to flatten that one is because that one's not actually in the capsule part. So you're going to dent with this side on the keyhole, smash the one in the flower with the metal on the hammer mat. So the cool thing about this, now brads took on a whole new look. Now they look like little old dented nails and all of that. But that thing in the flower looks more like a rivet because it's all flattened in there. So next we get to put it all together. So what we're going to do is take your piece of memory glass, place your artwork on top of the glass, place your capsule on top of that. Make sure everything kind of lines up, and you can position everything. That keyhole will fit in that rectangle and just kind of pop it in. Now turn it over. If you have any of that capsule that's sticking out past the glass, you'll need to trim it off a little bit. We want to get this as square as possible before we put it in the frame. So if it needs to be trimmed, you can trim off just a little bit of the capsule, but it should fit pretty well. Next we're going to insert it into the frame, and here's how the memory frames work. There is a little metal tab on the side of the frame. You're going to bend that out at an angle. You don't want to straighten it, just peel it out at a slight angle. Grab both corners, and you're going to pull this apart until it creates kind of a teardrop shape. And it can be pretty big, because you want room to work. Then we're going to insert that whole sandwich into the track. Make sure the jump ring, though, is going to be at the bottom of your collage. So the jump ring's at the bottom. Insert it all in, and you're going to kind of need to work that in and work the frame around. You need to like pinch to make sure all the layers are in. Wrap the frame all the way around. Take your time because you'll need to really make sure that that capsule lays underneath there. Then you're going to reinsert that tab into the slot and bend that. So when we go to meet up, it can just go right back in there. There you go. So make sure that little bit is still under there. There you go, push that in. There you go. Alright, so to use the jump rings, we're going to work with the Muse tokens. These jump rings, these are from Ideology. They're designed to be used by hand, but if you need to use the pliers, you're welcome to. Next, we're going to attach the trinket pin to this clip. And we're going to use our other jump ring, and you're going to go through the hole of that little pin, go through either hole in the clip, and also same thing with the jump ring. Twist that closed, let it go. And so now we basically just attach this pin to this clip. That's all we've done. Just using the jump ring. And now this will let us take our clip, attach it to the top of our project, and now we have a little wearable piece. You guys have fun?
Yeah.
You love it?
Loved it.
Loved it. They loved it. Yeah, we loved it too.
Loved it, loved it.
You love it? We loved it.
We loved it.
Signing out.